I'm Shane Got You 11, and with me as always is Trey.
Yes, sir. We are coming back to you guys. We took a little bit of time off for Thanksgiving, Black Friday, but now we are back. It is December 8th. We are back at you guys with another edition of the West Coast Podcast. Appreciate you guys for checking in. Those of you that are subscribed to Shane Got You 11 and watches his videos and all that, we appreciate it. And for those that will tune in to watch this podcast either live or when it gets uploaded later. Boy, oh boy, do we have has a lot of stuff went down since then. We've had two tournaments come out. We had the Harvest tournament, we had the Zero Chill tournament, we had we had a lot of patch notes. I think two patch notes, I believe, that came out since we did a podcast. The newest patch came out just a little while ago, I believe. And believe it or not, there has been some drama going down as well. So yeah, we got a lot to get into. Again, I appreciate you guys for stopping by. Those of you that check this out on the replay. So Shane, how have you been doing? How was your Thanksgiving? I know it feels like a long time since then, but how was your Thanksgiving and how do you feel about being back on here?
Bro, appreciate it. And what's up, everyone? Appreciate you guys being back here. And hopefully, everybody's Thanksgiving was good. Thanksgiving was really, really fun, man. It was really, really good. It's always good eats and hanging around with family. And then basically, the last couple weeks, I'm just prepping for this next MCS tournament, the final MCS tournament this weekend and Monday and Tuesday, and hopefully I handle business. How was your Thanksgiving, Trey?
Oh yeah, that's very nice. Yeah, my Thanksgiving was pretty cool. Always good to sit back, eat some good food, chill with the fam and all that, and watch some football games. Unfortunately, the Seattle Seahawks, you guys kind of got a raw deal because you faced the 49ers and you faced the Cowboys back to back, like two top teams in the in the entire league. But we'll get into that a little bit later. I guess to start this podcast over, I wanted to go go over the latest tournament. So in the Harvest tournament, we had Kobo, who's A18 member. He defeated Henry, and it was pretty surprising because Henry has been pretty dominant up until this point. And I don't know, for me, like when I watch this tournament, it almost feel like Henry was kind of coming in and he was, because before I felt like, he would come in, he would kind of have, that low key kind of energy to him. And I felt like in this tournament specifically, he got in and he kind of went in there with like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna do what I do, almost like cocky kind of energy. And Kobo came in and basically beat him down. And then in the next tournament we had Abram, who got his first belt, and he defeated Tori in that tournament. So Shane, what is your thoughts on the last two tournaments that went down? If you got a chance to watch them or not?
Trey, like Kobo and Henry, they're obviously lab partners. They're part of the A18 crew. Sometimes that stuff makes issues, makes it like a division rival kind of thing. But like for me, it's like I don't know how much. Like, yes, Henry definitely wanted to win, so don't get it twisted. But like, there's a difference if Trey, you and I are playing to win it all, and I've won 3 belts already, and I'm automatically in the Madden Bowl, and you haven't made the Madden Bowl yet. And I know it just makes our crew look even better if we both make it. not saying he laid down on purpose, but maybe he didn't have the same kind of drive. And then in the final tournament, we do know there was a suspension. Obviously, there's no evidence thrown out, anyways, right now where we can say one way or another. So we'll stay off that topic until there's proof down the road. But yeah, that was a pretty good tournament too. It was a little weird how everything happened with the suspension the night before. So for me on that one, it's like it is what it is. A lot of people are gonna kind of brush off this tournament, unfortunately, because of the suspension, and just be like, yeah, AI Nash was gonna probably win it, but then whatever happened between EA and him. So there's always gonna be that, if you know what I mean, Trey.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And, something else, we're talking about the suspension and all that. Something else, like, maybe you kind of have some, inside information on this, but, so AI Nash, he gets suspended, and, he was supposed to play Tori, and I guess, like, my question is like why did Tori, like, why didn't they have someone else come in? Like, maybe it was just, like, because I know they're doing the live events now, so it's probably like a logistics issue to where they couldn't fly someone down to play in the other final or what have you. But do you know why they had him just automatically move on? Like, why didn't they try to find someone else to fill his spot in the semifinal?
You know, that is really good conversation. Honestly, good question. I don't know factually why. I don't have any inside knowledge on that. I didn't ask around. My reasoning is, from what I've read about it and kind of delved into the situation, is that it happened right before he got off the plane. So maybe they didn't have enough time to find somebody. But like for me, it's kind of like it reminded me of when they were doing clubs and Killer Mike couldn't play because he had to work for the military, and they didn't move somebody up from the championship who lost to him. They should have just moved up the Seahawk winner or the Seahawk championship loser into his spot, like the guy won, but they didn't do that either. And I think it's because, honestly, Trey, it's because they don't want it where, like, let's say, I'm just going to use me as an example. I lose to AI Nash, right? And then AI Nash gets suspended, and I get picked up as the extra option because I made it the farthest until I lost to AI Nash, and I win it all. You know the hoopla that's going to happen in the Madden community? It's going to be even worse. It's going to be probably pretty horrible. So that's probably where they're trying to stay out of it. I do think maybe they do need to figure it out. Like, hey, uh, if this person can't play, then this person's going to slide in. But what they're basically basing everything off of, Trey, is they're getting to the point where basically this better be your almost full time job, like almost full time job. Like, I think they want to get it to where these people are streaming, making YouTube videos, spending their money on the game, podcasting about it, and then when the tournaments are up, if they make the live event, they can just go there. So I think they're trying to make it where people don't really have an outside job. They make Madden, surrounding Madden from YouTube, streaming, and all that their full time job, and then they don't have to worry about people sliding in and out. Unfortunately, criminal activity will change the situation, but that's where I am on the whole situation. I do think they probably should have slid somebody in, but then they would have gotten yelled at and punished for the loser making the live event, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel you on that. And I mean, it's crazy because, like, I mean, you probably think that, like, because, like, Tory probably got paid. Well, he definitely had to have gotten paid, like, like, even though AI Nash got DQ'd, so he probably won. I don't even know how much money he won, but he won, like, probably a good chunk of money for not doing anything because the dude got disqualified. So now you have a situation where, you get into the finals and yeah, you probably want to win that, win that, but at the same time, you're kind of playing loose. You're like, well, I just made this much money because the guy got disqualified. So yeah, I don't know what they're gonna have to do going forward. You know, there was another situation. I believe this was like 2017. You had a YouTube personality by the name of your boy Savage, who was also kind of an outsider, and he had a YouTube channel, and he had a sponsorship with Coinsite, and they knew about it, and they waited until he got to the event to tell him you're disqualified. So,
Yeah,
I
that's
think,
bad.
yeah, that's terrible. Again, that's another situation of they don't like outsiders. He was an outsider, so they got him. Like, imagine showing up to a tournament, you have some family with you, you're all excited to play, and you get told right before you get on the bus that you can't play, you have a coin site. I mean, definitely something that they should have learned from. And I know situations are going to come up, but I would like to see in the future when you have situations like this come up that because you've seen it, you're able to adapt to it next time and try to have a plan in place so when something like this inevitably happens again that they have a plan in motion. So, but I guess that's kind of all I have to say for the tournaments. Like, it's getting kind of harder and harder to watch these tournaments. I don't want to criticize the commentary because I think that they do a good job and I like all of them like as commentators, but just watching the commentary as of late, they're not even really talking about the game. They're just going off tangents about playing basketball and all that stuff, and I just think that if you want this to kind of appeal to a larger audience, that you take it seriously, which I feel like they did a pretty good job in the past, but now they're kind of not really taking it seriously. So
Got,
hopefully they
got a
could
question for you.
improve on that aspect. So I guess before we move on to the next topic, is there anything else, Shane, you want to touch on before we move on?
Yeah, so a few things. First off, with the whole outsider thing, it is kind of true because I remember a couple years ago, Drini got banned for buying coins illegally, which they did. He did. Let's be honest, he did, and they all kind of did. And he got banned, and they weren't going to let him play in the tournament because they were going to strong arm and they were going to show, like, damn it, you're not going to do that. Nobody's going to do that. You guys are going to follow the rules. But the unfortunate part is that Drini was supposed to be on EA Madden stream, and basically Drini blackballed him to get him unbanned, and he would go on the stream. And they relented, and then eventually they had to let everyone back in because of the hoopla. So yeah, so like they would have never let me back in, or you, Trey. So that would have never happened. Um, yeah, I don't really have the commentary on it as much anymore. Like nothing against Ryan Hollins, but it's whatever. And it's kind of gotten to the part where like they're just blabbing more instead of going into the game. Like I said, I'll be honest. My like RG was really good to me. Um, the one guy still on is pretty good. He's all right. He's the main guy. I can't remember his name. Um, But do you remember the UCLA play-by-play announcer that did it for like the year? That was professional.
Yeah, shout out to Josh Lewin. That was the
Yes, that
name.
was that bro, that was so professional and people were hyped and they were loving it and like oh, and people were like, "Did you hear his call?" And did you see like cuz it was like butter. It was like hot butter in a microwave, man. It was smooth and it was just like flowy. Like this now like they're just rambling on about certain things and honestly, I don't know if it's because it's gotten watered down product where like, hey, yep, he's coming out in bunch. Now he's coming out in bunch strong. Oh, here he comes. He's coming out in dollar. He's gonna pinch his line and he's gonna try to have the computer run through the A gap with the offensive line dumbing out unless you slide right, and um. But like honestly, like I read a lot of the other message boards and Reddit and all that stuff. And I'm gonna be when I say this, I'm gonna be dead honest when I say this. Like a lot of them, and yep, they are casual. And like a lot of pros say, they don't matter. They don't. I don't care what they really have to say. But a lot of people watching hate that the pros just run bunch and bunch strong and dollar. And yes, I understand that you have to like from when I talk to pros standpoint, it's like, well, I'm adjusting and I'm setting this up behind it, but you're still coming out in dollar, you're still coming out in bunch and bunch strong and all that. So for the normal people, it's boring. It's boring as hell. Um, and that was basically the gist of it, where a large casual base of Madden fans, players, they just kind of complain that it's the same old. It's it's not real. It's fake to them. And then then the other people were arguing like, well, it's no faker than having a punter at QB and all that stuff. And and then they're going back and forth. Well, like one guy said, well, both can be boring. Both can be like. And I guess basically what a lot of them said is like they didn't really pay attention to who won after like the first couple games because they just run the same thing or the first game or whatever, and they just put them on mute just to get the cards and stuff. And they basically said that like it'd be funner to watch if you had cooldown plays. Now again, if you're at the best at something, you got to figure out how the best is and how to stop it. But at the same time, like I think they need to do two things in Madden to help it blow up. One, I think weak box needs to be put back in. Like I mean, really, like knocked all over and all that stuff. If you're coming out in dollar against a heavy formation, you shouldn't be able to have your cornerbacks, excuse me, cornerbacks just shoot in and the line dumb out and you tackle the running back or whatever. And like I don't have any problem with if you're blitzing me heavily and I'm trying to pass the ball, but like certain things, it needs to be a little bit more simulation. I think for a majority of people to want to really, really get back into it, and I know they're saying like 34,000 tuned in, which is amazing, but at the same time, I think like 25,000 probably don't play competitively because they've averaged between 10,000 to 12,000 people each tournament, which is more than even years past. So they are growing a little bit, Trey. Sorry, I'm rambling on, but they are growing a little bit. So I guess I might be wrong on this. But another thing that I think would really, really blow up, like, I mean, really, 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 really make Madden blow up, where you're like, damn, this is starting to get super popular, is if you paid out the top 50. How would you do that, right? Well, let's not lie. I think they make like $6 billion from each Madden. I think you and I looked that up, or you looked it up, or I looked it up. I can't remember. I'm so tired, but something like that where they make like $6 billion. You could easily pay out 50,000 to first, 25 to second, 15 to third, 10 to fourth, fifth place gets 5, 6 to 10 get 4, 7 to 15 get 3, and so on. And then even the 50th player, they get like $500. And it only cost you maybe like 500K. If you could grow the population where people are like, "Oh, I have a chance," instead of, "Oh, I'm not in the top 8 or top 16." Well, that's going to be dumb. I don't really want to do that. And I think the other thing that would blow it up is if you bring clubs back. If you brought clubs back right now and then put top 50 get paid, even if it was a small amount where the 50th person just gets a PayPal or a check for getting eliminated online right before the live for $500, like more people would try it. And you know where the $500 is most likely going to go to? Back into Madden. But it just makes people more hyped. So that's where I stand on that.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. I think that you need to pay some more people, and I think that that's going to increase the amount of people who are going to want to play. And yeah, everything else is facts, and obviously we're going to get into more of that in the coming minutes of the podcast. I did want to talk about the patches. So again, if I would hope that people who are listening to this are subscribed to Shane Got You 11 already. But if by chance you aren't, you should definitely hit subscribe because him doing the patch notes instantaneously, and I always laugh when I watch the video and you say instantaneously, and I'm like, oh, it's a big word that you're dropping on us. But instantaneously dropping the patch notes, I think that that is a valuable thing to be alert if you consider yourself a Madden fan, no matter how you decide to play Madden. So we had we had the one patch, and I'm thinking from what it says is that the kick meter, which has been an issue. At first, it would be covering the if you're away, it would cover the meter, so you're not going to be able to see where it's going. So apparently that's fixed now. Kind of pathetic it took him that long, but hopefully it's fixed. And there was an issue apparently. I don't think I've seen this happen, but there was an issue to where there were routes where people would run their routes and they would just stop mid route, probably throw a lot of interceptions. It's gonna be hard not to break my controller when that happens. So hopefully that gets fixed. And interceptions are apparently going to be tuned up, so that's another thing. I haven't really had a huge problem with interceptions, I don't think, this year. So, hopefully, for people who have trouble with that, it's fixed. Now, for the latest one, the two big things was with RPOs. They're going to be having some blocking improvements, and that one was a little bit interesting to me because RPOs are kind of a pain in the ass. I know it's a big thing for Shane Got You 11. He's a big RPO guy, motion guy, college offense type of guy. But yeah, it's a little bit overpowered. It's a little bit cute. So I guess now they're saying that they're kind of making it even better. So we'll see how that turns out. And so another big thing is I believe is the $326 blitz. So where the A gap people would just shoot through the A gap and sack your quarterback. Well, apparently that's fixed. But if it isn't, Shane Got You 11 has a video on his YouTube channel you can check out on how to block the blitz. And Yeah, that's pretty much, the main gist of the patches that have been coming on recently. And Shane, I know you've already made videos about this, but it's been a cool couple weeks since the patch update. So would you say that the things that they said were patched were actually patched, or do you think some of them were kind of skewed? So.
No, bro, no. Like, what am I, Stephen A. Smith? All of a sudden, no. Like, no, bro, no. Like, the only thing they really fixed was the kick meter. That's it. The A gap blitz still works. So I'll say this: I was in Legend head-to-head seasons all Madden, and I realized that people could still shoot through the A gap. They just set it up a little bit differently out of the dollar. But really, how you block it is still the same way. So like Trey said, go to my YouTube, click on how to block the dollar blitz, and you're good to go. It's a simple setup, lickety split. You'll be blocking their little A gap. Secondly, yeah, I still have players stopping on slant plays. I'm scared to run or hot route to slants because they do stop in the middle. Also, I've noticed that if you're in the end zone, sometimes they bounce off weird of the back of the end zone and will go to a different area than you would expect. What else? The RPOs, I haven't seen much difference. Like, I just know that the only thing that was really fixed to my eyes was the kick meter. The rest hasn't really been fixed at all. Interceptions haven't really bugged me at all. Like, they're not as bad as people say. I don't know if they want the computer to jump and catch the ball or if they're talking about their specific user. Like, for every 10 chances I have to pick the ball off, we're like, hey, you're going to pick this ball off, or you should. Maybe twice it bounces off my hands out of 10 times where it doesn't say bad user or too early user or whatever. It just doesn't say anything. So, yeah, that kind of sucks. But I think they're taking in, the player's stats, in my opinion, trying to make it a little bit more real, right or wrong. And then the rest is basically um, I haven't had an issue with it. Now, I will say for everybody out there, I do think my guy shot his opinion a little too early, but I do think zone coverage is going to be the meta really, really soon with more and more players having AP discounts and AP discounts. So, like, like one for a flat zone, right? And then eventually it's going to be one for flat zone, one for deep out for a certain player, and it's going to be really, really hard to pass the ball unless you can manipulate the zone coverage. But it's going to be way harder than you'll. It's going to be a defensive game pretty soon, in my opinion. But that's where I am, Trey.
All right, got you. So, you're coming out and saying that essentially, yeah, yeah, I know you got the kick meter that's been fixed. The dollar blitz, it still comes in. Maybe you have to set it up a different way, but it still comes in. So my next question on that is, when they patch something and they don't actually patch it, do you put the blame on the community? Because maybe they do patch it, but then the community just goes on. They have another way of setting it up, or do you think that it's more of EA's fault that they're just kind of negligence and they're just bad at their jobs and doing patches? Who do you think deserves more of the blame on that situation?
So here's where I am. You might hear my little one. They're going to the bathroom. Uh, Here's where I stand on this, Trey. In my opinion, in my humble opinion on it, is I would hire a person who's a professional, right? And I'm being serious, like a professional, and maybe offer him like $100,000 a year, right? I know this sounds wild, and just tell them like, yo, so this dollar blitz right here, here's how it works. This is how it should be fixed. If or if you run this route like that, it dumbs out the zone when it shouldn't, and maybe hire like an insider if that makes sense, because I think a lot of these game patch people that fix a game, they're not as high as like like Henry or one of those guys. I think maybe they should hire an insider. That's where I stand because I think they're always going to be lost. I think the players are going to know stuff more than the EA people until they get hire an insider.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone from EA happens to come across this podcast, hit me up in the DMs because if like Shane says, pay someone 100,000, I'll gladly do. I'll gladly keep on tabs and keep up to date with everything else that's going on for 100,000. I mean, I know I don't have quite the educational or the degrees necessary to work in a company like EA Sports, but I mean, I'll do it for like 45, 50,000 at first, and it's like the NFL. It's a prove it deal. So you hire me on, and if I do well and everyone likes it, then you give me a raise. You know what I mean. So
Yo, facts, Trey. But yeah, but something like that. You know what I'm getting at? 75,000, 60,000. I'm sure one of them would do it, but EA is too cheap.
shit. So like I guess like just like for fun or whatever. Do you know a lot of people that make six figures in your like in general like what was the most amount of money like in a year did you make? Did you ever get close to achieving that? Did you?
Me? Um. Oh no, oh no, what I do? Okay, my bad. No, the most I ever made was like 72,000, and that was at the post office, and I didn't have a life at all. Yes, I do know some people that make six figures. I know a couple people who were millionaires. Um, Most of them that are that wealthy or well off, they own their businesses. So yeah, that's where I. So yes, I do know a few.
Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, 72,000 is a lot of money, but like you said, you don't have really much time for anything else. So, alrighty, so we came on here, we talked about the tournaments, we talked about the patch notes. So let's get into a little bit of, or actually before I kind of want to talk about the Ultimate Team real quick. Um, so I know we got Zero Chill. Zero Chill has been a huge promotion in Ultimate Team for a long time. They got the out of position players, and like in the tournament, you see Josh Allen, not the linebacker Josh Allen, but the quarterback Josh Allen out of position playing middle linebacker. So so you got that. I think they're supposed to be releasing a Deion Sanders pretty soon. So my question to Shane is like because I haven't really. I mean, I spend a little bit, but I'm not. I play Mud every day, but I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm as invested into it as I was in years past. Shane, I know obviously you have to keep up and all that, but like from your point of view, do you think that you've spent a lot more money this year than previous years, or has it been kind of the same, really? So,
I do think there is a Deion Sanders out, but are you talking about a wide receiver or the DB? Sorry, I didn't know which one you meant.
yeah. No, you're good. I was talking about like because I just seen it. I don't know what position he is. If he's like a wide receiver or DB, but I just know that I saw something. So.
Oh, got you, got you. So I am gonna give EA credit in the sense of like, if you do have to buy a bundle this year, that you're gonna get at least one good card. And I know it sounds so crappy by EA. Hey, you have to spend $100, and you might get like a 93 overall, or you will get a 93 overall. $100 for 193 overall. Think about that. Think about this. You have Most people need to have three great wide receivers. So most of them are going to want to get 393s, right? So there's $300 right there. Then QB 93. There's $400. A running back $500. Two tight ends, because some people do switch down to a little bit more of a power formation down in the red zone running the RPO. So let's just say instead of $200 there, it's 150. That's 650. I know offensive linemen now are going for about $75 a piece, so that's what 350. So that's about $1,000 to $1,200. And then on defense, it's even more expensive. Like here, I think the Ray Lewis was going for 2 million coins that when it first came out. Sherman the 93 is 2 million coins, and basically 2 million coins right now. I think that's like $150. Like, so for me, I have a good team. Yep, I had to put money into it. Obviously. And I've been playing it way more, and I've been winning Super Bowls way more this year. Like I said, I feel like, and I think I told you this, Trey. I'm pretty sure I did. But I feel like I am on the cusp of like I was in Madden 15, where I was learning again and getting into it really again and taking my lumps. And then Madden 16, I really took off. I really, really believe that unless Mutt gets super expensive, I'm gonna make even better runs next year, because this year I'm starting to go, make better runs right now. Like right now, at this time, the last couple of years, I'd have been horrible because it started getting later in the year, and I would be more trouble. So I'm really excited for next year and to finish off this year. Like I'm gonna be doing other tournaments even when MCS is done. I'll be streaming more because I don't need to prep for huge tournaments. But no, yeah, I mean I've probably spent roughly the same, maybe a little less, just because I've been able to win some Super Bowls, even though most of the packs suck. But no, Mutt's ridiculous, you guys. I mean, look at this. Oh, I'm gonna.
Oh,
Oh, my bad, Trey. I was gonna just show something really quick. Trey can't see it, but for people that go back and watch this, look how bad it is. Let's go to the quality. 94 players. They're 720K for Fred Warner, and he's a linebacker. When you start going into Tyreek Hill, 1.35 million. Like, are you serious right now? Like, that's ridiculous. Or like, if you're at 93 and you want to get the, well, where did Sherman go? Where is Sherman? Sherman? They don't even have Sherman listed right now, Trey. Anyways, go on, Trey. I was just trying to show people.
yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, it's definitely getting up there. So I guess I mean and I get like what you're talking about and all that. I mean like I know your opinion on Mud. Like I know you don't like it or whatever. Would you say that when you first started getting into it, up until now, like at how did the scale affect you? So like you don't like Mutt, and would you say that gradually over time it might have increased a little bit to where now maybe you didn't hate it as much as you did before, or do you do you think that with time you just hated it more? And what are some things that you like about MUT? Um, because I know most of it's gonna be dislikes, but what are some things that you kind of actually do like about it? What?
That's a good question. This is gonna surprise you a little bit, Trey. So when it first came out and I was doing regs and MUT, I hated MUT. I hated MUT with a passion. I thought it was trash. I thought it was garbage. Honestly, I've grown to like it a little bit more. I kind of like it more than regs now, but I think it's also because the speed of the game in MUT is so much faster and not as slow feeling as regs, in my opinion. So I am now like 60-40 liking, MUT more than regs. I never thought I'd be here saying that. Um, what I do dislike, obviously, is like it's so expensive to try to compete. Like it's really not that fair because like when people are like, "Oh yeah, but if you're really good, you'll beat people." Well, I notice that when my team falls behind, and people can be like, "It's a placebo," but it's not, and I'm telling you the truth. When my team starts to fall behind, where like I have a 91 getting guarded by a 94, or I have a 91 cornerback trying to fall in 94, I start getting cooked. Once I can start improving my team, all of a sudden I'm starting to win more games again. So my issue with MUT is it's really, really expensive. If I was rich, Trey, or if I was balling in YouTube, I wouldn't care. I'd buy every bundle up and be like, oh well, get your money up. But at the same time, I would agree. At the same time, even if I was rich and buying bundles and having the best team, spending 20K on it, I would still acknowledge that yeah, they need to fix something. I do love just creating my own team, trying to put my team together. But as a whole, to see who's better, in my opinion, I still think it'd be regs in the sense of I load up 49ers, you load up 49ers. You load up the Chiefs, I load up the Chiefs. Nobody is at a disadvantage due to I don't have the money or I can't play it as long. But no, one of my favorite things now to do, Trey, is to build my team. I still think abilities have killed Butt, and I have noticed more and more pros are coming around on it about the abilities not being so fun anymore. So no, so for my honestly, Trey, my favorite thing is putting together a team and then trying them out.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I like MUT, and I think I would like regs more. Obviously CFM is kind of franchise mode for those of you that aren't hip to, some of the terms. Shane was talking about regs, that's just online head to head. I feel like, because there's a lot of lingo in this community, so I feel like sometimes you kind of have to dissect what certain things, especially CFMs. I mean, who the hell says that? Other than nerds. But no, like franchise mode and online franchise mode is like that's kind of similar to MUT to where you get on it's like fantasy football, right? To where like you're grinding and you try to win the Super Bowl and all that. And MUT's kind of the same way. Um, it's a grind. It's like, yeah, you can spend money, have the best teams or whatever, but, there's some people that actually enjoy doing the challenges and figuring out ways to buy cards and reflip them and coin making methods and all that. And I do enjoy that aspect of it to an extent. Hopefully they improve on the rewards because the rewards have not really been great in my opinion. So hopefully they do that. Hopefully they bring back weekend league. The actual weekend league, not like weekend league all week. So, but yeah. So yeah, I mean that's kind of where I'm at with MUT. Um, so we talked about that, and we can't have a podcast about Madden or about any video game without bringing up what just happened a few days ago. I don't know. Shane probably doesn't know what I'm talking about. So, Grand Theft Auto. I was in high school the last time they released Grand Theft Auto. They released the Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer a couple days ago. It's going to come out in 2025. It is based in Miami, Florida. It's got kind of a Bonnie and Clyde kind of feel to it. So I just wanted to bring that up. I don't know if Shane checked it out or knows what's going on, but kind of wanted to bring that up. Shane, have you been paying attention to the whole? Because there's been people that have been getting arrested and all that for like leaking footage and all that. So have you been kind of keeping on with what's going on with that at all?
I've just seen some clips like how real it looks compared to the last time it was out. I mean, so that's wild. I mean, it's just crazy how real games are getting. And I know it's gonna be like one of the most hyped games when it comes out and stuff like that. But nah, man, I don't know the full gist of it. I just know that the people look like almost real now, and B, it's gonna blow up when it's released in 2025.
Hell yeah. Yeah, they definitely. It's gonna improve. I think it's gonna be even better from what we saw in the trailer, because you got to think that the trailer is probably even like footage that's a little bit older. So yeah, we'll see what's going on. That it's gonna be interesting. Um, all right. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and dive into the drama that's been going on. So you get on Twitter, and a few things that I kind of wanted to bring up is you have Dubby, and shout out to Dubby. You know, I don't have any bad feelings towards him. You know, like it is what it is. But you know, you had Gut Fox come in, and he sent a tweet saying that essentially that Dubby gets paid by EA. That's why he supports EA. That's why he defends EA at every turn, is because he gets paid by EA. So, Shane, from your opinion, you know, do you think that there's some truth to that? You know, Dubby is, you know, if you go on his Twitter, he's doing stuff for EA. He's constantly being mentioned in the streams. He's giving away drops and all that. So, what's your opinion on that?
Of course, they all have hands in the pot. Don't get it twisted. Like these people think that. Like, I mean, honestly, a lot of people buy into what people say. Like I understand that's awesome. I actually give a. I almost said to give a golf clap, but I almost give a round of applause to like people that like trust. Like that's really cool and be like, nah, my man wouldn't do that, or nah, my girl wouldn't do that. Not talking about boyfriend or girlfriend, but the people, the podcasters they watch, the athletes they watch. I mean, when it comes to money, money is the root of all evil. If you want to like just break it down like that, how much would you sell your soul for? How much would if EA came up to you and you're like, nah, I'm against EA, whoop de whoop, and they came up and said, hey Trey, I'm going to give you $20,000 right now to talk about us, to create some controversy, to to do whatever, and then talk about us on your podcast, on Twitter. We know your engagement, all that stuff. I mean, maybe you wouldn't do it for 20, maybe you do it for 5, maybe you do it for 50. Usually there's always a number that goes round. That's why, like, and I'm gonna go off topic here, but I'm making the same point. Is like when you do a bid, if you do like something shady, and I'm not saying they do anything shady, but it's usually your right hand man who snitches on you. It's very few to get the real story, to get the real loyalty, and I think that's where they are at. Like, I mean, I had people that I thought. Look, I'll tell you this right now. I had people that I thought were I was cool with on Gamer Saloon. I was better than. I didn't try to hustle them like Trey. You know where I stand out with loyalty. I'm one of those dumb guys that would go down, basically not snitching, not ratting you out. Not you per se, Trey, but my friends or family or people I like, and there's probably half of them would flip on me in a hot minute for money, for sex, for whatever they need in that situation. Not sex for me, but whatever it needs to be. Like they would flip it, and it is really. It's just I'm just being honest. So like, great. W says he's not part of the EA stream, but now all of a sudden he's doing drops and he's doing this and he's doing that. I mean, so for me, I don't buy what most people say. Going back to the Gamer Saloon story, I had maybe one freaking person, Trey, in 3 years where they didn't flip on me. Shout out to Headhunters. I don't talk to him anymore. I hope he's going good. I know he's probably like 25, 26 right now. Shout out to you, man. Like you were a really good Madden player, but most of all, dude, you're an honest person. Um, but no, man. Like so, like people know my backstory. I helped out people, and then they'd try to burn me or they try to do something shady. The shadiest person ever. I mean, where I trusted him at the end was a guy that his name was King Duck. I'm just gonna be honest. King Duck, I thought was cool with me. I told him I'd never play him for money. He said, "Oh, I appreciate that." And then all of a sudden, one year, he was starting to act real funny, and he had to play me in a tournament, and I beat him. And he kept blowing me up for like 2 weeks straight. Want to play for 500? And I'm like, "Yo, bro, I thought we'd never play. Come on, man, let's play for 500. We won't have to not be boys." I go, nah, because I'm not gonna be cool. Because like for me, I'm not gonna take like $500 from my friends. That's just not me. But anyways, long story short, Trey is Headhunters text me and was like, "Hey, don't play Kentucky, dude. He's setting you up. It's Pavon." And I'm like, "Really, bro?" And he's like, "Yeah, like I'm gonna be cordial with him, bro. But like when I found out that he was trying to scam you, Shane, it just, I just, that was where it crossed the line, and I'm not gonna let you get burned to $500 because I know he's been bugging you 24/7." But yeah, so anyways, he tried to burn me, and I thought me and Ducky were cool. Like we talk about stuff and crap like that. So like, I don't believe anything that most people say in this community.
Yeah, no, definitely not. And yeah, that's so like knowing what you know now, um, just in general from like the Madden community and all the stuff that you had to go through, all the people that came up to you and like were loyal, but then they ended up ripping you off in the end. Knowing what you know now, and if you could go back, would you how would you approach the whole gamer saloon and I guess Madden in general? If knowing what you know now, if you could go back then, what do you think you would change?
I would have never helped anybody. Just simple as that. Like I wouldn't have helped anybody. I would have been like just searching for games. Been like, you want to play? Not play? Maybe talk some crap to try to get people to play me. But like, I really wouldn't have built relationships at all. Like, I mean, besides like you and like Soul Crusher, I don't talk to anyone, bro. Like so out of all those people that I thought were cool with me, right? From Madden 15 to about Madden 21 when people started ducking me, right? And play ball, the situation with him, he started telling people about me and not to play me and whoop de whoop. And then people were like, "Nah, I saw you on stream. You beat this pro and beat that pro, I started having issues finding games. But so basically, though, Trey, for 6 years, I thought, I mean, I met probably like 25 people that I thought were really cool, and I literally talked to two of them. So, like, roughly, and yes, I'm probably exaggerating 25. Maybe it was 18, maybe it was 16. But either way, 2 out of 15, 2 out of 20, 2 out of 25. I mean, that's not a good ratio for, like, hey, I'm still cool with these people a few years down the road. And over half of them tried to scam me. I mean, over half tried to scam me. A couple grew up and got girlfriends and moved on. I mean, and then stopped even replying to me, which what is, and then like a year later tried to come back and be like, "Yo, I'm not with that girl anymore. Help me with Madden." And I basically was like, "Nah, I'm good." But like, yeah, man, like I really trusted a few of them, and they like said stuff about me that was just wild. So yeah, I probably wouldn't even try to interact with most people, but in the end, I'm thankful like that. Like I got to know you, I got to know Soul Crusher, but yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, honestly, Trey, there's been a few times like even this year where like I've had to keep my temper in check because I've wanted to tell people who talk crap to me like, you know what, suck a frog. Um, but I've been better. But like last couple times has been pissing me off. So like yeah, so probably nowadays, because I will be back on Gamer soon, letting y'all know. Give me a year and a half, a year, I'll be back, baby, like Arnold. Um, I probably just won't talk to people. I'll just try to find a game and not have any conversations with people.
Yes, sir. That is the way to go from now on. So, yeah, we covered that, and there was also a tweet that I found quite hilarious. But, Civil came on, and he tweeted something to the effect of, I'm discussing things with EA, so if you have any suggestions, leave them down in the replies. And I just laughed my ass off when I read that. It basically means like, if you're a pro and you have suggestions, read it. If you're not, then it's like useless. It's going nowhere. Kind of like when you're on EA Sports' page and you give them a suggestion on how to fix the game, it just goes right into the spam folder, basically. So I thought that was quite hilarious, but I guess to, kind of tie a bow on this whole situation, to the pro players out there, not to anyone specifically, but I guess just the one percenters, the streamers, like I like you guys. You get on, you're entertaining, you're obviously intelligent enough to figure out on how to, make money, make some good videos, and come up with some good ideas on Twitch. But I'm gonna tell you right now, if you start collaborating together and trying to keep the average people away from competing, it's gonna get old. People might not care right now, and you might be able to get away with it, but I'm telling you right now, it's gonna get old, and people are going to start to care, and it's going to it's gonna flip, is what I'm trying to say. So that's kind of my closing thoughts on the whole situation. Shane, if I know you're kind of more active towards the pro players and all of that, but if you could talk to the one percenters and give them a message, what do you think your message would be to them?
Um, Probably should be censored on certain things. Basically, like I know that here I'll say this. I know some of them are just about themselves, which is fine. But in the end, like for me, if I was the 1% of the one percenters, where I'm like Henry, I would want the money spread out to more people to try to get it become even bigger and to get people to want to play it more. So I would probably promote like and try to make the game more realistic. That's probably where I'm at. Because other than that, like I just got to mind my p's and q's, Trey.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I mean, and there's no beefs or whatever. It's just like what Shane said. Let's come together instead of like being in this top 1% and kind of being in your inner circle and only looking out for yourself. I mean, that's life. That's what you got to do. Sometimes I get it, but if you really want to make this thing big, just let's make some suggestions. Listen to the casuals, putting that in quotation marks. Casuals. Um, just get back and let's just come together and make the game more realistic, like Shane said, and it makes it bigger for all of us. There's more than enough money to go around for people, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So, moving on, before we kind of wrap this loaded edition of the West Coast podcast, I did want to talk to Shane about the Seahawks because watching that Dallas Cowboys game on Thursday night, I really did like the uniforms they were rocking in that game. You had the little throwback jerseys in the 80s. And I thought it was funny that the last play where Geno got sacked, it looked like a Madden play where Micah Parsons just came in completely unblocked. And I'm like, you don't even get that in Madden. Like, look at that asshole right there. He just came in unblocked. So what? So you're coming off of that loss. How would you say going forward? Are you thinking that you guys are going to bounce back from that, or not really?
No, they're gonna get spanked by the Niners. I just think they're probably gonna be 8-9 and miss out on the playoffs by a game. I do think my uniforms that I grew up watching are so sick, though. They're so nasty looking. They're so great. Oh man, I just had a thing about Madden that I was gonna. Oh, that's what. One last thing about Madden, then I'll be done with Madden. You know what they need to do, Trey, to even make it even more entertaining? They need to have MCS last longer than right now. So, like, let's say I get eliminated by Tuesday, right? That means I am done with MCS until Madden 25, which is wild to me because it's only December. It'll only be December 11th. They need to try to make it go until right before the Super Bowl. Like they should have like a Super Bowl MCS, right? And do it like early Feb. That's when most people start to not play as much. Is right around there. So I think they need to extend the time. But yes, I think the Seahawks will end up like 8-9 and miss the playoffs by like a game.
Yeah, no doubt. I do like obviously DK Metcalf is a monster out there, but I thought that Smith Najigba, I think he had a touchdown get called back, which I thought was kind of crazy that he kind of got screwed over on, but y'all ended up scoring on that possession anyways. But I really like that wide receiver, and yeah, I would say that I agree with you on that. I mean, it's like, because they're building this whole tournament, like, they're calling it Most Fear Tournament, Zero Chill Tournament, Harvest Tournament. They're naming the MCS tournaments after promos that are featured in Ultimate Team. And you know damn well that if that's what you're gonna do, that after the last tournament ends, the Madden Bowl, there's Ultimate Team's not gonna stop. Like you're still gonna be having these promos come out. Maybe they're not as big as the four main ones, but you're still gonna be putting out cards. So I don't really see a reason on why you don't continue that throughout the whole year. The only thing I can think of is maybe it gets to a situation where the teams are too good and everyone is like a 99 overall, and so at that point, maybe they're thinking that it's just going to be too redundant. But I'm kind of stretching with that because it already is redundant. But that's kind of what I think. But so other than that, I think that's going to wrap it up for the December 8th edition of the West Coast podcast. We will be back not this Friday, but the upcoming Friday for another episode of the West Coast podcast. And yeah, appreciate you guys for checking us out. Be sure to subscribe. If you're listening to us and you want to come on or have any opinions, leave it in the comment section and we'll definitely address it. Because, listeners and people that listen to us, we want to make sure that we're getting your guys' feedback in on the podcast and make sure to talk about the things that you want to talk about. And so, yeah, I'll throw it back over to Shane to close this out.
Just what Trey said. Appreciate you all being in here. I know lots of times people listen to it afterwards when they're doing stuff, so appreciate it. We'll be back December 22nd, right before Christmas. It'll be the Christmas special. And then the next one won't be till 2024. So, anyways, you guys, this is Shane. With me was Trey. It's the West Coast Podcast. We will see you guys in 2 weeks.